integral part of the system, whether the ruling elite admit that or not.
The Saudi government has spent billions of pounds spreading Islam around the world.
During the reign of the late King Fahd, only from the 70s to the mid-80s, King Fahd has spent $75 billion funding schools, madrasas, mosques, charities throughout the world.
Official Saudi websites give the figures.
The result is some 210 Islamic centres wholly or partly financed by Saudi Arabia, more than 1,500 mosques and 202 colleges, and almost 2,000 schools in non-Islamic countries.
Saudi funding has a huge effect on British Muslim life, according to some Muslim commentators.
Saudi Arabia has immense influence in Britain through their support of mosques and imams. When the Muslim community came to this country, they were not organized and they did not have enough resources. So they went to Saudi Arabia to collect funds, and through that thing they were able to influence, propagate their ideology all over this country.
Many preachers in Britain have been trained in Islam in Saudi Arabia, like Amira, whom our reporter filmed preaching at Regent's Park Mosque. She spent 3 years studying at Medina Mosque. This is the official website of the Saudi Ministry of Islamic Affairs. It prints the sermons of Saudi imams and gives an idea of some of their teachings on non-Muslims.
Fellow Muslims, following the kafir is disgraceful, while disobeying them is mighty. When a kafir dies, the whole of humanity is relieved. Beware of taking them as friends. You should hate them, disown them and their religion.
This Saudi imam is overcome with emotion while reading a Quranic verse cursing Jews and Christians. Saudi books with the same message of segregation continue to be widely available in Britain, such as these official fatwas sold in Regent's Park Mosque bookshop.
The enemies of Allah are the disbelievers. It is necessary to avoid mixing with non-Muslims, to like them, to love them, to support them, or live amongst them.
We found Saudi Arabian religious teachings being spread at Britain's Central Mosque, which is run by a Saudi diplomat. This is another Islamic institution in Britain, funded by Saudi Arabia. The King Fahd Academy in West London is an independent day school for 500 Muslim children, run under the support and supervision of the Saudi Embassy. Dr. Al-Dubayan, the head of Regent's Park Mosque, sits on the board of trustees. In 1998, the school started teaching some of the pupils the same official education curriculum that's taught to children in Saudi Arabia. Colin Cook is a Muslim convert and worked at the school as an English teacher. 18 months ago, he was dismissed after raising concerns that some of the children were cheating in exams. But this year, he won £70,000 for wrongful dismissal at an industrial tribunal. After he left, a contact still there passed him official Saudi textbooks from the school.
The books carry the stamp of the Saudi Ministry of Education.
The books teach that other religions are worthless. One quotes a Quranic verse.
Those whom God has cursed, he turned into monkeys and pigs.
And in a footnote says,
It is said that the monkeys are the Jews, the pigs are the infidels of the table of Jesus, the Christians.
And another passage sets the children a test.
I read that the books were asking the children to describe the repugnant characteristics of the Jews, and I found that repulsive and appalling. I believe these textbooks will poison the minds of anyone that reads them.
The King Fahd Academy said it agreed that the passages were inappropriate, but said that they had never been taught at the school. The books had now been disposed of, and the Saudi curriculum had been phased out altogether. It said the passages on Jews and Christians related to an Old Testament event. It does not imply or infer that this is a general comment on these faith groups today. It said Ofsted had found that its pupils showed good empathy and tolerance of others' views. Every year the Saudi ambassador to Britain, Prince Mohammed bin Nawaf, holds a conference with the British Foreign Secretary. He says the aim of the dialogue is to promote tolerance and mutual respect.
That the theme of this session is focusing on how each community perceives the other and how to promote positive views and mutual respect our young people need to discover in learning about one another.
But the British government's policy on tackling radicalism and the message being spread by Saudi theology are incompatible, according to security expert Professor Anthony Cleese.
What the British government wants is for British Muslims to feel part of an inclusive British society. Now, what the Saudi version of Islam is saying is that Islam is not just a religious identity, it is also a political identity, and that they should resist, that it is right to resist being assimilated into mainstream British society.
If you believe in Wahhabism or if you are a supporter of Wahhabism, then basically there is no integration, meeting of two sides. There is no respect for the other side. As a consequence, we have seen Muslims becoming isolated and marginalized.
By the government's own thinking, separateness makes it easier for British Muslims not to regard Britain as their homeland, but as the enemy.
Next, our reporter goes undercover in a third major UK Islamic institution to get first-hand evidence of the kind of Saudi material being spread in UK mosques. A Dispatches reporter is filming undercover, investigating major Islamic institutions in Britain with strong links to Saudi Arabia. She found preachers in Britain's most important mosque promoting extreme Sharia law.
Someone make them like a man, a woman like a man. You understand this? The punishment is kill them.
And selling DVDs with a hardline message.
People can see in the public, you know, people got their hands and feet from opposite sides chopped off, and they see them crucified.
And we showed a British school run under the supervision of the Saudi embassy, which imported books condemning other religions.
I believe these textbooks will poison the minds of anyone that reads them.
Now our investigation turned to a third major Islamic institution in Britain. This is the UK headquarters of the Muslim World League and the World Assembly of Muslim Youth. They're worldwide charities and run a 5-storey complex of offices, a mosque and prayer rooms in the heart of London's West End. Although their headquarters are in Saudi Arabia, they say they are independent of the Saudi government. They say they give out Islamic literature promoting coexistence and moderation between cultures. So our reporter is going undercover to find out. They run weekend Quran courses and she gets a place. The lessons are run by this imam. The charities say they give out Islamic literature. So after the lesson, our reporter asks for some. She says friends of hers are setting up a mosque and Islamic school. He says they do give out books on Islam. He says they mostly give out English translations of the Quran.
English translated Quran.
She asks where the books are coming from.
ये क्या सऊदी से सब आती हैं?
जी,
ये जो आपने
He says they